Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. You've got a story to share, a message to inspire, and a passion ready to ignite. But where do you start? The world is waiting for your voice. With From Idea to Implementation, Start Your Own Podcast, you'll get the roadmap to turn your vision into reality. This isn't just a course, it's your launching pad. Step by step, we'll break down the process from defining your purpose to recording your first episode so you can finally share your voice with confidence. Stop overthinking it and start doing it. Your voice has the power to connect and lead. Are you ready to use it? Join the waitlist today. Your podcast journey starts now. The world is waiting. You can find the link to sign up for the waitlist in the show notes. We'll see you soon. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast, a platform created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Tami Reed. She is a quantum human design coach and an energy practitioner. Welcome, Tami. How are you doing today?
I'm doing lovely. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for taking and making the time to be here with me today. I am excited and looking forward to jumping in and sharing all about the beautiful magic you put out into the world through the work you do and a bit about your story and your journey. So with that being said, let us jump right in. I would love to know what led you to quantum human design and energy work. Was there a defining moment that shifted your path?
Yeah, I think there was actually quite a few, but the one that really pivoted me into diving deeper into quantum human design was before 2020. And many of us know what happened in 2020, but before 2020, yes. I had this beautiful business. I was a traveling artist. Around 2020, I had already been doing it for 16, 18 years at that time. And my hermit little self loved it. So during the week, I would paint and tune in. And then on the weekends, I would share the quotes and the messages with the hearts of those that showed up at the art show. But in 2018, I kind of knew something was coming. I knew I was hiding inside of that business. I wasn't allowing the world to see all of me. And in March of 2020, when all of my shows got canceled, and that year was going to be a really big, impactful year. I mean, I had booked so many beautiful shows and I was ready to rock and roll. And then the end of March is when all of the shows got canceled. And honestly, I felt like my body took a deep breath and was like, here we go. This is your moment, right? Don't lean in to figure out how to save this business and how to stay in it. This is your space and time to lean into something else. And so I just trusted. I thought, okay, this is my time. Something new is going to come in. And the very month that all of my shows got canceled was the very month that I discovered quantum human design. And in that moment, I knew right away that this was my system. This was a system that I was here to remember, revive, and really allow other people to see the beauty that was already sitting within them, the wisdom. And because that's honestly what human design did for me.
That time in the world was exactly that for so many. I mean, it shifted my whole path as well. And I was left thinking, what the hell? I never expected this. And it just sent so many people on a different trajectory. And I think it was hard at first to grasp it, not what was happening, but the shift. Yeah. But it was what was meant to be. It was my path that was carved out for me. And that's the path I was meant to follow. So it's a struggle, but it was a beautiful struggle, I think.
Yeah. And honestly, I peeked at your human design chart and you're exactly in alignment with your life purpose. You are truly here, honestly, to listen to the hearts of those and collaborate and share new knowledge and wisdom with the hearts of others. Like your whole life purpose is really about sharing your heart, but it's truly about your ability to listen to another's heart and shine their stories in order to help transform humanity. Because it's through the stories and the meanings we hold and the narratives that we place weight on. So many of us we could have chose in that moment to go, oh, poor me. My business is not doing well. How am I going to pay my bills? Or you can step into faith and know, okay, so what else is in store for me? If this door is gently or slamming shut, what new little window or door is opening up for me? Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And that just reaffirms that I am on the right path. So thank you for that affirmation and confirmation. It's funny you mentioned the whole door thing. And I always tell this to people is that when that happened in 2020, in March of 2020, my business obviously was shut down. And I was faced with a choice. You can either go through door number one, where you can sit around and commiserate and bitch with all the other people around the world about what's going on, get you could go through door number two and decide to look at this as a gift of time that we've all been given and use it to get out into the world. And so that's where the podcast was reborn and reignited and put out into the world. So it all happened divinely and in divine timing as it was meant to unfold for me. So thank you again for confirming that, for taking a look at my chart and for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, your chart's beautiful. I mean, everyone's chart's beautiful, and it's just leaning in and staying in alignment with what you came in to go through.
That fills my heart to know that, though. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
My heart is overflowing right now. What drives, motivates, and inspires you to keep going and excelling at all that you do, Tami?
Yeah, it's honestly, every time that I see someone get that confirmation and affirmation, like, you already know who you are, but sometimes we're outsourcing externally outside of us, looking for that, like, validation of who I am. And I just want to be the confirmation for people rather than seeking externally and start to insourcing internally. Like, the wisdom's already there. You already know what you're supposed to be doing and the times you're supposed to be letting go and the times that you're supposed to be leaning in. And it's not resisting who you came here to be and not being afraid to be who you were designed to be.
But you always hear so many people say, I have no idea what my purpose is. I don't know how to find my purpose, all of the things. So what do you say to those people?
Yeah, but what if just you being here is someone else's purpose? I think that we all play a role in other people's reality. So what if your purpose is just to experience life? Not all of us are here to be leaning in and turning lights on and being those healers, but we all have a place in somebody's life. And so those individuals that I just don't know what my purpose is, honestly, like, I can see it within your chart. And there is no way that you're not going to be living in your purpose. You just might be in the unbalanced expression of it, resisting it, rather than allowing yourself to feel expansive and allowing your heart to open to whatever that is. But what if you came here to play the role in someone else's life so that they can have that purpose?
True, but there is something to be said for me, knowing that I am here to help people get their stories out there and to listen to their hearts. And that is having a bigger purpose than ourselves, than the collective, is a huge thing for me. I love that this is what I'm here to do. That makes me feel fulfilled, and to know that I've found my purpose. I compare it to always winning the lottery twice. First of all, to have found my purpose. Second of all, my purpose impacts and gives back to other human beings. That's a win-win. You can't do any better than that. That is incredible to me.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said for that too.
Absolutely. And I think that when people lean into listening to their own hearts, and not in the scarcity or the fear aspect. Because I don't actually feel like we're given the space or the time or the education on how to truly listen to.
Very true.
Because I really feel like when children come into this planet, they know who they are. And society, the external noise, the parents, the siblings, the friends, the community, then start to make us disbelieve who we can feel who we are on the inside. And so a lot of us, we have to get rid of the noise internally that's coming from externally so that we can actually hear our own voice.
Very true. I mean,
that own flame that's already within you.
Yeah, I believe that. I think it gets conditioned not out of us, but I think it gets so tamped down by all the conditioning, societal, parental, all the things that we just forget it's there and we lose sight of it. But I mean, for me, I didn't really find my purpose. I always thought photography was my sole purpose here, and photography and Brad were synonymous for me. So it was my first love and my first passion, but I didn't really step into where I'm supposed to be until I was 50 years old. So it took me that long to get there, but at least I was still able to get there. And that's the important piece. And then finding it and using it to help raise the vibration of the collective, to help other people, to give back to humanity is what it's all about. That's why we're all here. In one way or another, we're here to give back and support each other and help humanity evolve and grow and do our part. You always hear people say, I'm just one person, I can't make a difference. You most certainly can. I was one of those people that thought that too. You most certainly can. You do that by doing your part in this world, which then ripples out to the collective, to the people you surround yourself with, which then lifts the vibration of the collective because it's a collective effort.
Yeah. I often say, if you can do the work on yourself, you cannot help but then create a ripple effect externally. It all starts with you.
There you go.
All starts with
For sure.
Yep.
Everything. We are the foundation for all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you're helping yourself, you're naturally then helping others because you're connecting with other people differently, right?
Yeah.
You're maybe connecting in pain. You're connecting with power. And I would also like to say that you were still in your purpose when you were doing photography. You were still sharing stories, but it was through the stillness of photos that you were capturing moments and memories and then sharing them with the world. You're still doing your purpose, but it just looked a little bit different.
Yeah, it's evolved a little bit for sure.
And
absolutely.
And you're not afraid to step out from behind the camera now.
Which I was for a very long time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's very true. So for those out there listening who might be unfamiliar with it, how does quantum human design differ from traditional human design?
Yeah, traditional human design was brought to us almost over 30 years ago by Ra Uru. He was the founder of human design, and we call that traditional human design. So the languaging is really about the not self, the pieces of you that you believe to be true, but really aren't true. And so he really talked about the deconditioning aspect of allowing yourself to get rid of a lot of those patterns that you brought in and you thought was you, the voices, of maybe your parents or your siblings and your friends, and really starting to get to the foundation of who you are at your core, which in human design, we talk about those are the definitions that defined the colored in centers of your chart. Now you have to understand, when we look at human design, the entire chart is you, but there's only pieces of it that you get to be consistent with. And that is your journey. Your journey is developing those aspects of yourself, right? And so quantum human design was brought to us by Karen Curry Parker, who was also taught by Ra Uru. And what she discovered was the language kind of felt limiting. And she wanted more expansive, loving, coming from the heart. And so the languaging is just a little bit different, but the concept is the same.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that and clarifying that. I appreciate that. So what does it mean to operate from a quantum perspective rather than a linear one?
Yeah, I believe it is you tapping into true source. And everything to me is energy. Everything is a pattern. So what are you using as your fuel? And a lot of people are addicted to different types of emotions in order to get them motivated, in order to get them moving. And I feel like when we tap into the quantum, we know that all things are possible and that we're working with the divine plan and our free will. So there's divine will and free will. And I feel like we're then getting to choose what feels in alignment, which is our optimal expression. And linear is just feeling like the past is the past, and I have to control this moment in order to see and get to the future that I really desire. And I think that it's all possible, but it's through the meaning on the words and the stories you choose to tell that's creating that frequency that you're lining up to. And so it's almost like linear is within the quantum.
Thank you for clarifying that as well.
Yeah.
I love this. This is a great, I'm learning lots here. I love it. What's the biggest misconception about human design, and what do you wish that more people understood?
Yeah. Human design is just a tool, and it is not there to put you inside of a box. It's there to show you the aspects of you that you were naturally born with so that you can then transcend the box. Like, we came here to play a game. If you know what your avatar is, and you know the skills that you naturally already have and the ones that you're supposed to be leaning into, and then your ability to download more gifts and more information and more wisdom by your connection with other individuals, man, the game can be really fun. Even when you think you're having a really bad day or a really tough experience, you can lean into that and know that every moment is here to serve you. Every moment.
That's a huge mindset shift for people, though, is stepping into that and realizing that no matter how shitty or how good those moments are, they're all there to help build who you are and to help you grow as a human being. So the shitty moments, because we all have them, that's life. That's part of our journey. But there's always a lesson there, or a silver lining, whatever you want to call it, a gem, whatever it is, to take forward with you in your journey so that you grow and expand or evolve consciously and as a human being to do more work, to do better going forward. It's a hard shift to get into, though. It's hard to accept that, because at the time it could seem like the worst fucking thing ever that's happening to you. And it probably is at that time.
Correct. Yep.
But to be able to step back, that's the hard part, is step back and look in from the outside and say, okay, what's this here to teach me? And how can I take it forward to do better, or to change, or to shift, or to grow, whatever it is? That's where the work comes in.
Yeah. And I think that's what I love the most about my work, is being able to untie those knots inside people's minds and their hearts.
I love that expression, untie those knots.
Yeah.
I love it.
We tend to squeeze and tighten them even more, especially when we resist. And that's what people don't quite understand. They can actually see the thing that they're resisting right next to them, but they're not willing just to take the time to allow it to come directly in front of them so that they can just have a little bit of compassion towards it and allow it to give them more information. Because I think through all of your questioning, you can really start to pull information from the quantum field, which I call CI rather than AI. So it's conscious intelligence rather than artificial intelligence. So let's tune in to where all wisdom exists, where all archetypes are developed.
Be curious, ask questions. That's how we learn. You have to ask the questions. Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to then receive the answer. Because that's, I think, sometimes why people don't tune in. They're afraid. They're afraid of what they actually.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
How is your understanding your own human design transform the way you move through life?
Like, when I discovered human design, I probably wept for about 4 hours. I was like, finally, something that is resonating, that like, this is what I already knew. Like all the things that I secretly knew about my spiritual gifts that I wouldn't tell anybody else about. I wouldn't let the world know. I mean, even my husband, I mean, I was 40 at the time when I discovered human design. I'm now 45. And there was this part of me that I was like, I have known this all along. And what it did was allow me to release all the shame and guilt that I had been carrying about either not leaning into me or not allowing the external narrative to just create havoc internally, where I was constantly seeking wisdom and validation. And it just freed me. Honestly, it took the handcuffs off. I was completely centered and anchored. And it was to the point where I now could understand on such another level that it was really hard for anything external to really rock me internally. And people started to ask me, like, you feel so different. What did you do? And honestly, that's how organically my business started, because I loved what it did for me so much that I could not help my friends see their charts.
Keep it a secret.
Yeah. That's how it all began. And human design is such a beautiful tool to keep me on track in my lane.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most profound lesson that working with energy and human design has taught you about yourself?
Get out of the way. It's not about you.
That's a hard one. We so often make everything about ourselves, and we are our own biggest hurdles. We are our own worst enemies.
Yep. Yeah. And it just taught me really just to lean in and listen. It just really grew my faith. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. How can leaders and entrepreneurs use human design to create more alignment in their businesses and their teams?
Yeah, it really shows them who their audience is, who they need to market to, what kind of language they need to be using, how they themselves can create, I would say, rituals or disciplines in order to keep them in their own lane, and really what is in a true alignment to their optimal selves. Because there are many times I'm being me, but I'm being the unbalanced version of me. And so if you understand human design, you can truly understand how to market, where to show up, how you connect energetically with the world and other souls so that they can really see you and you can see yourself.
And so how does one's understanding of human design, their type, help with self-acceptance and self-love?
Yeah, I think it allows you to truly understand your aura, the way that you are systematically, organically designed to pick up on information outside of you. Because a lot of times what people don't quite understand is they're absorbing and being a sponge for other people's stories. So there's a lot of times where individuals will come into my office and maybe they cannot see the trees in the forest. And that might just be because that in their type, there is a center that is open, that is white, and they're absorbing and then amplifying, turning up the volume of that. So if you've got this beautiful generator who is here to respond to life, and they're not a manifesting generator where they're out there pushing it. And so that's when they start to know their type, they can lean into who they really are. And so I know I'm a projector. I'm here to wait the invitation. And now that I know that, I don't have to force myself indoors. I patiently wait for the door to open. And how I get doors to open is I have to see my own essence first. The more that I lean into my own energy, making sure that energetically I have a lot of vitality, the doors will just naturally open. And so it's not me going, hey, Brad, can I get on your podcast? I'm patiently waiting for you to see me, connect with me, and then give me that invitation. So it feels like I'm not pushing the door open and running you over with my own energy. And so it's so cool when people really, truly start to understand, those manifestors out there. It's not about asking people for permission. It's about inclusion. So when they start to really understand that they're here to be really good communicators, so they can initiate a project, initiate an idea. And so they're basically just informing those individuals who's going to be impacted by their choices.
Right.
And then you've got those generators where they're here to respond, not push, right? Even though they have endless amounts of energy, and as long as they're doing what they love, I feel like they gift this world this beautiful healing energy. I call it like scalar energy, if people understand what that is, but it's natural and it's healing. And so if you can lean more into your yeses and know what that is, I mean, 70% of the population are generators and manifesting generators. And so if you can get to understand that, to release all those shoulds, I must, I better, it actually depletes your internal battery. And then as a projector myself, like leaning in and knowing that, and also the manifestors and reflectors are in this group, they don't have infinite amounts of energy that they get to tap into all day. It's finite. Meaning if we were to look at it like money, they have $1,000 that they get to spend every day. You better invest that wisely, or you're going to go into debt.
For sure.
And then energetically and vitality, your body then will start to reflect it in disease.
I believe I'm a generator.
You are. We call you a pure generator. So you have sacral energy. And so as long as you're doing what you love and listening to those natural sounds that are coming out of you when you know it's a yes or is natural for a generator. So really allowing them to not have to say those formal yeses or nos, just allow them to make those sounds and making sure that you ask them yes or no questions. Yeah. But you also, your sacral is connected to your spleen, and those individuals out there that don't understand what that is, that tells me you have consistent access to feeling well, consistent access to your fears, and consistent access to your intuition. And so your sacral, as long as you're doing the yes and no, you can tune in to anything and really know what's correct, or like what I would say beneficial or detrimental.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you once again. Learning so much. How does human design support spiritual awakening and expansion?
I believe spiritual awakening is really awakening yourself within, instead of going and sourcing externally, having someone tell you what you should believe or how you should feel or how you should think. I think it really gives you the energetic blueprint. I like to call it your energetic fingerprint, that you came here to just learn and understand and gift that wisdom and that light to others. And then what are you here to receive? What is the light that you're here to absorb and learn through other individuals? And so spiritually, I feel like it allows you to have a deeper, compassionate connection with yourself and others. So when you start to play with this in your relationships, the amount of judgment that I got to release through understanding even just my husband's chart and my kids, like really being able to create the environment for them to thrive in. Wow. Game changer.
Is there a connection then between human design and discovering one's soul purpose?
Yeah, I think so. We like to believe in human design. It really shows you your soul curriculum, what you came in to learn. And so it's like unlocking all these little pearls inside of you. And then you
go ahead, finish your thought. Sorry.
Just you being able to gift that wisdom.
So then if someone is struggling to figure out, or they're questioning what is my purpose here, then getting a reading, getting a human design chart done, for their human design chart read and given to them, that will help them discover that. Having a session will help them discover that soul purpose.
Yeah. And what I love about human design, yes, there's absolutely a lot of depth. I mean, this is like 4 ancient charts layered together, so you can go super deep in this. But the most fun that I have is really being able to work with younger kids that are having some difficulty and are a little bit possibly confused or holding on some shame and guilt. And I love showing them just simple aspects of themselves, like just the beauty that I can see within their chart. And there is not one child when I am doing their reading that doesn't start to silently weep because, this makes me emotional. Like They often share, this is the first time someone has truly seen me. And they already
Wow.
know it's there. They already know it's within them. But the world keeps telling them that they're doing it wrong. They're showing up wrong. And I just love it. It just really,
So
go ahead.
reading and sharing kids' charts, do their charts change as they grow through life and they expand, or is the information, like the foundation of it all, always the same?
I love that you asked that question. Your chart will always be the same. What is
Okay.
different, honestly, is cosmically, energetically, what is being, like I would say, pushed into our earth. So what happens is every year, the sun goes through all 64 gates within the chart. So then everybody is gifted every single year to experience that energy. And so
Okay.
there's going to be different weeks where, oh my gosh, I feel this and I think this, and then you're shifting into that. So it is more over time, we're learning how to be the optimal expression of who we came to be. And so we have to allow ourselves to dance through the unbalanced expression for us to really find that harmony within.
Beautiful. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
I was very curious about that. Even for adults, knowing that your chart does not change, that it's there and that's the foundation of it all. I want to dive into the energy practitioner work. And I'm sure they're really intertwined, the human design and the energy practitioner work. But many people struggle, as we've talked about, to trust their intuition. That's a hard thing to learn. So how did you learn to trust yours, and what advice would you give to those who are struggling with that?
Yeah, a lot of people think that it's in the big moments that you really start to learn to trust your intuition. It's really in the little moments. Everybody is intuitive. And when I look at your chart, I can actually see your spiritual gifts. And so like when I'm looking at yours, you have this beautiful solar plexus and this open G center. And so I know that when I walk into a room or another individual walks into a room that you're in, that you will automatically amplify what I'm currently feeling. And so it gives you the ability to know the way that you're spiritually designed to tune in to the fabric of somebody else and not become the sponge of what they feel. And so what I mean is, if I were to walk into the room and you were sitting in front of me and maybe something just irritated me and it just kind of sparked a little bit of the emotion of anger, but I'm okay. Like I can work through it. I'm not externally presenting anything, but you have this beautiful ability to really feel what's going on internally in someone's system when it comes to emotions. And so you would automatically, if I felt it at a 2, you would feel it like at a 22. So you then, if you didn't have the emotional capacity or the wisdom to start asking the question, nothing happened. And 1 minute ago, I was not feeling this. And then when she walked into the room, I started to feel this. So you'll know automatically it was mine, not yours. It gives you the space and the opportunity to either lean in and ask questions, or to have faith and know, it's okay, she's got it. She's got tools. She can shift it. And it's okay that she feels this, right? So many of us get wrapped into thinking and believing that we have to shift it for somebody else. And knowing that, like the channels inside of your chart, I know that sometimes that you are so deeply caring that it creates sometimes this part of creating codependency, right? Because you can see what another person needs, desires, or wants, and you just can go and do it. And so it's you creating the space of being a witness and encouraging them to know what's going on internally for themselves, because you have this heightened sensitivity of being able to feel someone's emotions, to be able to feel someone's heart center. And you have this beautiful ability to basically shift yourself into whatever it is that you need to be in order to make that person feel safe. And that's because you have an emotional center. And so those are your spiritual gifts. Your spiritual gifts are being able to connect to someone so deeply and energetically feel them at that emotional level And if you've done the work on emotional intelligence, then your frequency then can help them pop out of their lower frequency just by being in the moment.
Wow. See, when I did not know that, I didn't know that we could find our spiritual gifts through our human design charts. And this is something that I've been wondering about a lot lately. I shouldn't say late, since I started my spiritual journey 3 years ago now. But when I think of spiritual gifts, I think of the clairs and being able to read someone's future and things like that. That's what I think of when I think of spiritual gifts. I don't think of them as what you just described to me. It doesn't sound to me like a spiritual gift. I think of the clairs and being able to hear things, being able to communicate with people who have crossed. That's what I think of when I think of spiritual gifts. So that's very interesting.
Yeah. And I think it's an and. I think you can actually see the clairs within someone's chart. And so I would consider you clairsentient, someone who can really deeply feel and sense at this level that someone with a defined solar plexus or defined G center just doesn't naturally have that. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't develop it. So developing your ability and your intuition and your spiritual gifts, and even developing those things that maybe you were not naturally gifted as a child that I can see within your chart, but are sitting within your DNA that's waiting for you to wake it up, waiting for you to learn and play with it. And so in order to develop your spiritual gifts, it's in the tiny moments. It's in the whispers of your day. So every day we are gifted with the ability to make decision after decision. And so it's really tuning in and being able to listen and feel where it is. And like for you, I know that you tuning in is all through questioning. Yes or no? It's in your gut. It's below that belly button. It's in the moment. And so what you could do, or another individual could do, is just like when you're driving down the road, silently, internally ask yourself, should I be in the left lane? And then give yourself some space. Should I be in the right lane? The more that you just do it in those tiny moments, because it really doesn't matter. Big picture, doesn't matter if you're in the left lane or right lane. You're probably still going to get to your destination, but there might be an optimal route. If you would have stayed in the left lane, you knew it. You just don't know how you knew it. But you popped up into your logic brain and then it was like, what? That didn't make sense. And so then you discard it and you don't listen. But the more that you lean in, the more that you listen, the more that the world is going to open, and the more that CI, that conscious intelligence, is going to work with you. Because it's, she is listening. She does want to help.
Amazing.
And so it's like in the simple things of when you're eating, when you're getting dressed, like in those bigger moments, like moving or switching jobs. Yeah, you can still know. But to build the trust factor, because it's really the trust. A lot of people get those nudges and those whispers all day long, but they don't trust. So to develop the trust, it's in the little moments.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Wow, this conversation is awesome. I love it.
And I have to share, you just said that you started diving deeper into your spiritual, just really wanting to gather that knowledge and research it. Like that is very on point for you. You're in your Chiron return. And so your Chiron return is about gate 25, and it's about developing your relationship with the divine. So you're perfectly on point. This is the time. This is kind of like the Chiron is almost like our wounded healer, the thing that possibly in our younger years developed a little bit of a wound around that, whether it was you or someone said something. And so now you're revisiting that and making sure that you truly learn how to connect with your source so that you carry that knowledge with you when you pass.
I love it. Wow. More confirmation. It's just amazing. Do you believe that we are currently experiencing a collective shift into a higher level of consciousness? And if so, how is it affecting us energetically?
Yeah, I do believe that. And I think that people are getting more curious. I think people are allowing themselves to just question and discover. And it's just right on point, energetically, cosmically. Like It's all supposed to be happening. It's all supposed to be happening. And I think those of us that are creating just community and connection. So for those people where their lights are turning on, where they're starting to come out of the fog and they're going, what? There's a whole new other world out here that I didn't know about. We're just creating a safe place for them to discover what they want to keep about that information and what just doesn't resonate. I don't think it's about right or wrong. I really feel like it's about what is in alignment, what expands you and what constricts you. Now, you can have wounds within your constriction that you still need to be paying attention to. And it's your trauma that is restricting you. And so that's why it doesn't feel safe. I'm always saying it's not an or, it's an and. It's so multi-layered and beautiful. But yeah.
I love it. What would you say is one of the biggest truths about energy, alignment, and human design that has changed the way you live your life?
I really lean into doing the work. It has created more vitality and energy in my life. And even though sometimes others have called me an energy hygienist, where I'm just in there cleaning up those patterns and that energy that you became a sponge of that just doesn't belong in your system, that's creating too much noise. And so you can't hear yourself. You have no idea where your light is or where your inner voice is because you had so many beautiful spiritual gifts that you just soaked everyone up. And so I think we store everything within our biofield, and there are just some files that are outdated, and I just want to go in and delete those suckers and let's replace them with new updated knowledge and wisdom and like direction that you want to go. It's all up to you. We just have to remember we have a choice. We always have a choice.
Yes.
Always. That you're not backed into a corner. Even if you're in a corner, you still have a choice. And
that's powerful knowledge to hold.
Yeah. And so I think it's just allowed me to not be afraid to be me. Like it has being able to wake up and being able to do what I do. I just feel so blessed. But if you would have told me 5 years ago that I would be doing this, I would have just laughed at you. I'm like, okay, on what planet are you living on? That's not going to happen in my world. I mean, I used to be so afraid to have a voice in the room. But what I discovered was I was a deep listener. And that is my superpower. I really can listen, and I can listen to words might be coming out of your mouth, but I'm actually listening to what's coming out of your heart. Because that's actually your truth. Because we can try to trick ourselves and share all these different stories and get stuck in our stories. But yeah, I love to listen to what's not being said underneath. And so I was always so afraid to share that. I'm not afraid to share it anymore. I'm not afraid to have interesting conversations around theories and possibilities that we couldn't have 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. For sure. I resonate very much with that. If someone had told me that I'd be hosting a podcast that amplifies women's voices, and I would have said, you're fucking crazy. No chance. No, I don't see it. No fucking way. Not a possibility.
Yep.
What is one practice? Sorry, you're going to say something?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. What is one practice or mindset shift that you can share with the listeners right now that can help people step into their highest potential today?
It's hard to just choose one. It's hard. So hard. I think, like, for me, I mean, what is something that I know that I do every single day? I know my tools and what works for me. So the sun for me, that is a non-negotiable. I thrive on just sitting in the silence in the sun and allowing that to energetically just expand me. But when we go to start diving into this, it's just allowing yourself to breathe in and have space to be able to ask those questions. So there are several individuals out there that honestly, they've gifted me these beautiful ways to articulate. And if you don't know Byron Katie's work, the work is so good at getting people out of the mind and Alyssa Nobriga. Beautiful work. And so I usually use these in combination. And so every day, if there's something that got sparked inside of me and that created a little bit of a, oof, that pinched me, right? If I get pinched in the day, I know that is for me to discover on where is the original root of that and go after it. And so I honestly sit for an hour in contemplation and in silence. What was it that happened yesterday or the day before that might get in my way today? And so I just want to sit with that feeling. I discover where it's at within my body. I go back to the moment or the memory or the conversation. And what is super cool is you can actually transform your past. Where let's just say that you had a really hard conversation and maybe you felt like it didn't go the way you wanted. Like internally, you just, it doesn't feel good. Go back in your mind and see it going differently. Just see it going differently. Because the reason why you keep going back to that moment and that memory is because you wish it would have gone differently. So let it go differently. Let it go differently. So that's what I do. I go back into the moment. I discover the light in it. I discover where it's at within my body. And I just sit there and breathe with it. Sometimes I see myself pulling it out of my body into this beautiful glass jar, because you have to remember energy can only be transformed or transferred, right? It cannot be destroyed. So let's just transform it into something beautiful that I would want to ripple out to somebody else. If I can shift that pattern within me, I can then share the knowledge with you. And I don't have to be one-on-one. That's the quantum. I can energetically let that go out from me. And then it's your choice, your free will to pick up on that wisdom that's already out there in the ether, in the plasma. So so then I go in, I find where it's at, I pull it out, put it in the jar, transform it into maybe butterflies. I open up the lid, I let the butterflies go back into where I felt it. Does it feel different? I want to notice not what is the same, but what is different. And so it's shifting my perspective. If I always watch the sunset from the same view, would I miss out on the beauty of this view over here? So I'm always trying to look for that different perspective. And then I want to forgive myself. I forgive myself for buying into the illusion or the misunderstanding of what did I believe in that moment? And I do that several times. And then I look for the truth. What's the truth? What is the actual truth that maybe I just didn't know at that time? So I'm practicing compassion, forgiveness, acceptance, knowing that I have the power to transform it. I don't have to seek outside help. It's already there within me. But what I do love to do is go to other energy workers because I love to experience. And that's when I can go super deep into the quantum field with their ability to open up the field.
Love it. Fun. Wow. Powerful. If you could leave people with one powerful message about embracing their unique energy blueprint, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to lean in. Don't be afraid to lean into what you're resisting.
Okay.
And
No, go ahead.
No, I can go on and on. I love talking about this stuff so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can hear it. I can feel it. I can see it. It's amazing. Everyone should be so passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
How incredible would that be if everyone had that passion for what they do? It'd be so awe-inspiring and beautiful and amazing.
And just a thought, like, I know of an individual that's had a really tough time and it has landed her behind bars. And she knows that she has a bigger purpose. And guess what she's doing behind bars? The work, energy work. She's trying to help other individuals. It's almost like it's almost so comical that she gets being put back there because that's where her work is. And so externally, we can sit here and judge her and say, oh, her life isn't going the way it's supposed to go. But what if it's going exactly the way it's supposed to go? Because that's who she's supposed to connect with and help.
For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become successful?
My ability to listen and trust. And it's as simple and I would say profound as that. Like, I really trust. Like when I'm in the office and I've got someone on my table and they've got some issue that they're trying to just transform. It's me stepping out of the way. It's like, I don't know what has to happen, but the divine does, right? And so if I can just listen and allow myself to trust and be guided, it's really for them. It's not, So trusting and listening.
So speaking of success, what does that word mean to you? How do you define success?
Allowing people to truly see who I really am. To me, that's success. And when someone recognizes that, that's when I really feel successful. I was able to show up authentically and they saw me. Yeah. That to me is success.
For sure. Agreed. What would you say is one of the most important things you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before you learned it? And what was your life like after learning it?
That sometimes we think that we're failing, but we're just falling into success. And it is just there as a stepping stone. And so there are many moments where I thought that I needed to rewrite that. And it is that moment that was so painful that actually gifted me the ability to be in this moment. And so there are so many things that I'm like, I mean, just to think in 2020, like I was on this hamster wheel of booking that next show. And if anyone isn't aware of how that works, you have to pay for those shows 6 months to a year in advance. And the shows that I was participating in were thousands of dollars. And so in 2019, like I had this beautiful business that was very lucrative, but I took all of my cash and what I made that year, paid off this, did this. And then what I have to do is then buy all new inventory. So I had already bought $50,000 worth of inventory when March occurred. And so everybody else would have looked like you're failing. You're not willing to dive deeper into that business that you have been growing for the last 18 years and pay off that debt. I don't know. There was just something inside of me that said, it's okay. It's okay to have that. I didn't know. And now I'm growing this other business that is now paying off the other business.
Beautiful.
But yeah, externally
Amazing.
that could look like failure, but it's been beautiful learning tool.
Absolutely. What is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you started your entrepreneurial journey?
That it's okay to get it wrong. And maybe wrong is just your way to getting it right. And sometimes it's just like leaning into those internal whispers. And that is like one thing I think that I'm doing a lot better now on this journey. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was 25. And so it's been a while that I've been on a journey. And it's just learning to trust, learning to not be afraid to look at the numbers, not being afraid to measure, not being afraid to actually ask for help when you don't know something.
There you go. That's key.
Yeah. And
love it.
The people that you need, usually what I've discovered, are already around you. You're just not asking. You're just not asking for their help because that's what they're here for.
Yeah, for sure. Love it. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3, 4-word answer type thing. Okay. If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
Just see your light.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Quantum.
What is one of your favorite quotes?
Your value resides in your own heart, not in the hearts of others.
What is one thing you want but cannot buy with money?
I would say the ability to be authentic.
What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
It is going back to my ability to trust.
What is your favorite self-care practice?
Energy work.
And that concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. Tami, if you could take one feeling or one belief, bottle it, and give it to people, what would it be?
Bliss.
If you could step into my shoes, what is the one question you would ask yourself that I didn't ask you?
There are If I could work and see and give a platform to certain individuals and really get people to start listening, it's to the children. The most, I would say, spiritually that I've learned are actually from children 11 and younger.
Wow.
I've had the opportunity to connect to some very gifted young individuals. Oh my gosh, their knowledge is beautiful. They honestly need to be teaching the world what they can really see that those of us cannot see.
Beautiful. If you could have any 3 people in the world, alive or dead, sitting at your dinner table with you for dinner, who would those 3 people be and why?
It would be these 3 children. I'm not going to name their names. I want to keep them private because of their spiritual gifts. But it would be them. It is so fun to sit in a room with a child that can see and feel and know things that adults just don't quite understand, and ask them questions. It is so invigorating. It is so beautiful.
Okay. If you had the opportunity to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
I wouldn't know her name. I can feel her, but it would be a tribal medicine woman who just holds the wisdom of many generations. Oh, that would be such a beautiful time to have with her in the conversation. And just the knowledge and wisdom that she has connecting to nature and other individuals, that's who I want to have dinner with.
Okay. If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
It's okay to be seen.
Lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your tribe, your people, your corner of the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
You came here to be this once-in-a-lifetime cosmic event individual. So lean in to who you are. Don't be afraid to share your wisdom, and don't be afraid to receive the wisdom of others.
Beautiful. Tami, thank you so much for being here with me today, for sharing your magic that you put out into the world through the work you do, your beautiful light. Thank you for sharing your story, your journey, your expertise. I have learned so much today, and I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to sit down and speak with you and share in your journey and learn from you. It is an absolute honor and a pleasure to have had the opportunity to sit down and speak with you. I'm grateful to have you as a member of the Empowerography community and to call you a friend. Thank you for being here with me today. I appreciate you.
Yeah, Brad, thanks for seeing me, and thank you for this beautiful invitation.
My pleasure and my honor. Tami, could you share with the audience where they can connect with you if they want to learn more about you, work with you possibly?
Yeah, I'm on social media. So Facebook, I'm Tami Reed. On Instagram, it's My Lovely Design. And I have a website, so you can go to mylovelydesign.com.
Beautiful. Thank you once again for being here with me, Tami. I appreciate you. Once again, my name is Brad Welsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. Today, my guest has been Tami Reed. She is a quantum human design coach and an energy practitioner. Thank you so much, Tami. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca. Follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.